Welcome to the review of Young Justice Outsiders, episodes 7 through 9. And these episodes were really good. I think they did a lot to really start to set the story pieces in line that will kind of continue throughout the season. One thing I really loved about these episodes were the animation seemed better, especially in the episode of Evolution, and the music was great, felt so freaking epic. All right, so let's get into spoilers. The first episode, Evolution, is pretty much heavily involves Vandal Savage and his story. And I did not think that would be, that great, but it was an amazing episode. You really try to get a sense of who Vandal Savage is, what his ambitions are, what his goals are, where did he come from? And it was just done so well. So there's an alien invasion, but I think more so like on the outer, probably in the outer ring of the solar system, where humans have noticed. I don't think anyone's noticed. And Vandal, it's kind of like, all right, we got to handle this because he does want to protect Earth. And that is so interesting concept for a villain that he wants to protect Earth. He feels like he's Earth's champion. And so him and his daughter and this other lady needs to go fight off this invasion. And you learn that it's Starro who has been using other, I think, aliens to try and invade Earth. Vandal Savage needed some help. So he called up his friend Darkseid. Vandal is well connected. And you see their backstory also, that Darkseid invaded Earth and he was so pleased with how Vandal Savage defended Earth that they had formed a partnership saying that, all right, we're going to take over the universe. And then whenever that's done, then we'll fight it out. A couple other things we learned about Vandal Savage, like I've known before, he's taken the role of many characters throughout history. Like some cases he is Alexander the Great, some cases he is Genghis Khan. They show him as Genghis Khan here. They show him as some half deities, and you find out that Naboo is his son. Naboo is the spirit in Dr. Fate. He actually is Dr. Fate, so that's just interesting in of itself. But that episode was really good. It's probably my favorite episode of this season so far. Next to Private Security, it's funny, those two episodes are nothing alike at all, but that's the great thing about Young Justice, is that it has a range of entertainment value to it. The next episode is Tritech, and this is probably my least favorite episode of these three. I don't feel like there's that much story going on, but it does set up some plot points for future episodes. So it involves this group of villains trying to steal something that you have no idea what it is, and you still don't know by the end of these episodes. Then you have the other side of the story of Tim Drake's team going to investigate the Mad Hatter, and I just love Tim Drake in this. This is probably one of my favorite Tim Drake moments of any animated show. Also, we have another secret meeting. This time there's a secret meeting in the Batcave with pretty much all the leaders of their respective teams. Like there's like 6 superhero teams right now, but only the leaders know that they're actually working together, and they're keeping that secret because they don't want all their members to be liable for knowing all, what the inner workings of this team is. But one of my issues with this episode is that it was kind of really hard to follow. Like in that meeting, they all come together and say, oh yeah, this happened, this happened, this happened. I'm like, oh, I didn't know that those things connected. So that was probably my worst part of this episode. The next episode, Home Fires, its main plot involves Lobo trying to complete a hit out on Forager, and pretty much the team is trying to defend him. Now, the flip side of that, we have like a superhero get together of the families, and it's just a joy to see. Like I love seeing these characters grow. You really feel like you've seen all these characters grow and their kids. It's like, going to a family reunion and like, oh, that little kid grew up to be this height, and you get to see their relationships. Unfortunately, someone is trying to kill them all, and it is Ocean Master, but he's trying to kill them all, I think. And this is what the light considers the nuclear option against the superheroes. It's like, you don't want to do this, but if you ever have to, you want to do it. And Ocean Master, for some reason, feels like should. But that is short-lived because Lady Shiva comes in and kills him, like straight up beheads him. Like these episodes, I'm glad I didn't watch these episodes with my daughter. I happened to take the day off, and so I just watched them by myself. Like there is a lot of more violence in this. Also, there's a lot more sets in these episodes, but it's off screen. She wouldn't be able to guess that. All right, so I did really enjoy all these episodes. Let's get into my top 5 moments of these episodes. Number 5 is the sister bond. Love seeing Tigress, Artemis, and Cheshire together again. you know, their relationship is so complicated, and I think they're handling it really well. Like that moment where Cheshire tells her like, give a hug to, and she can't quite finish it. Like she almost doesn't finish it, but then she feels like she should, and she finishes the sentence, give a hug to my daughter. And Artemis feels like she needs to be there for her daughter, like, but she's an arch villain. Like, how do you reconcile these two things? Number 4 is the secrets in the Batcave. It's very interesting to me that the Justice League has become so obsolete that they have to have these secret gatherings to really try and make a difference. Like, and what does that mean, that the Justice League, what do they stand for anymore? What's the purpose of them? Third favorite moment is Tim Drake being the best Tim Drake he can. Just love seeing him being a detective, being a leader on that team. And number 2 is the family get together or the party or whatever. Just all these characters, and man, this show's diverse. Love seeing Rocket with her kid. Love seeing Bumblebee. Love seeing just all these characters. They did drop a hint that maybe there's something going on with Will Harper and Artemis. I hope that doesn't happen because, you know, Wally has to come back. And the number 1 moment is just really the whole telling of Vandal Savage's, you know, history. Like his character development just skyrocketed in one episode. I'm really curious to see what he does. All right, on to the top 5 MVPs of this episode. Number 5 is Forager. I just love this character. Like, just his comedy is so good. He's kind of like this sweet, adorable, you know, kid who's learning things, and he has all these misconceptions about stuff. He was really good. Then Tigress, like I mentioned before, she had a lot of great moments with her sister. And also, I love seeing her step into this leadership role and training people, and she just does a really good job at that. Number 3 is Tim Drake. He, like I said before, he was just a great leader, and love seeing his detective skills. So yeah, just, you know, I'm not even a big fan of Tim Drake. As you see here with all these Robins, he's like way in the back, unless you count this as Tim Drake, but whatever. Number 2 is Halo. I am absolutely loving this character. I love her power set. It's great visually, and she's really growing also. She's a lot like Forager in that sense. And she's just kind of this sweet girl who, you know, just wants to be good and do good. And number 1, without a doubt, is Vandal Savage. He was just the MVP of this whole entire thing, probably MVP of the whole entire series. I'm so interested to see what he does. Like, this is a huge improvement from season 1, and he was good in season 1. So let's get into predictions. And I think there were a lot of predictions to make in this episode, especially from all the plot points that they set up. First of all, we probably will get Cyborg at some point. I mean, they didn't mention Victor Stone in like a radio broadcast. And also they mentioned that thing that Shadow and O'Shea was stealing went to Star Labs with his father, Dr. Stone. And so I'm guessing that's some type of apocalyptic technology that will merge with Cyborg, merge with Victor Stone, and create Cyborg. Next, I do think we're going to get Batman Incorporated, or like the Bat Family from Detective Comics. So Clayface was in these episodes, and it seemed like him and Tim kind of hit it off. Like, I could easily see them going with the Batman Detective Comics team that from James Tynion's run, which is a phenomenal run. And I'm hoping that this doesn't come true, but that nuclear option of like killing members of the Justice League's family reminds me a lot of Identity Crisis. And I love Identity Crisis, but I don't know if I want that type of heart-wrenching story right now. Like, I want these characters to have some adversity, but that's almost too dark. There's no going back after you do that. All right, those are my thoughts. Sincerely, thank you for watching. I'm out.